Merry Christmas. Season is unfolding so beautifully, and our series for Christmas we had chosen is called Priorities. Priorities. And the basis of these priorities, especially as we as Catholics, is the correct understanding of marriage and the family. Correct understanding of what it means truly to live the Christian life in a domestic church. It was more than 20 years ago now, it's probably like 23 or 24 years ago, that I was having a conversation with a young father who wanted to baptize his child. And when we got to the part on godparents, he wanted to have his two brothers. To which I smiled and I said, well, no, it has to be one man and one woman because we want to maintain the image of parents, mother and father. And he smiled and he goes, oh, Father, get with the times already, will you? 20 plus years ago, the mentality was already growing rapidly. How many of you know the name Harrison Butker? Football fans would know him, right? Did you know that he actually is a very devout Catholic? And he was invited by Benedictine College to give a commencement speech. A major NFL player who had won a Super Bowl, he's a place kicker, won a Super Bowl, is now giving this talk to the graduating class at Benedictine College. And all was a buzz. But apparently he took the opportunity to actually talk about Catholic teaching to Catholic students at a Catholic college. And nobody liked what he said. Believe it or not, he actually spoke of the ideals of marriage and the family by referring to his, and please, if this is going to bother you, just plug your ears for a second, by calling his wife a housewife. He called her a mother. And he even said to the young ladies there, you might be excited about your career, but I'm also sure you're excited about the children you're going to bear. How dare he? They went crazy. They went nuts over this speech, demanding that the NFL fire him because he gave a Catholic talk to Catholic students at a Catholic college about Catholic marriage and the family. Now, granted, he's not a theologian, so some of the things maybe we could take exception to, but for the most part, I listened to the speech and I thought, well, you know, he gave a pretty solid understanding of what God envisioned for all eternity for marriage and the family. God envisioned it. And so when that guy said to me, get with the times, I thought in the back of my head, I didn't say it out loud because I don't want to be rude, so you're trying to tell me that society today knows better than God for all these centuries? Yes, we are basically living in a world that is trying to redefine all of the things, the structures laid by God. Now, as I go to say these few things, I want to be clear about this. I know we have a fallen nature. And I know that even though sometimes we can uphold the theological principles and the ideals established by God, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. I get it. I get it. Divorce does happen. There are problems. There are other things. But for just a moment, we must reclaim our own Catholic identity, especially on these topics. Because where marriage and the family go, there goes the church, there goes society. One of the most brilliant people last century was St. John Paul II, bar none. The man, if you even try to read some of his stuff, is very hard to follow sometimes because it's just so rich with so much in it. He did a thing when he was first elected the Pope. Now, I did my research on this, so I could go on for a couple of hours on what he did, but I promise you I'm going to try to keep it brief enough so that we can understand one another. He did this thing called the Theology of the Body. It's actually, the original thing is male and female. He created them as the title in Italian. But we refer to it as the Theology of the Body. But he took this opportunity to really mess with the people of the church. Because instead of just publishing the book that he had already written, he decided to break it up into 130 pieces and deliver it once a week at his Wednesday audiences for almost 5 years, giving little bits and pieces of it every week. And you got to admit, I mean, if you know anything about it, its complexity is one that really needs to be just dealt with in a whole. But neither here nor there, that's what he chose to do, putting this into, if you will, the realm of the Catholic faith, putting it into the doctrine of the Catholic faith. So, when we talk about male and female, where do we first find out about men and women? The book of Genesis. See, Jesus uses this expression when he's kind of bartering with some of the Pharisees and they're talking and they're going back and forth. Jesus says, in the beginning, it was not so. In the beginning, it wasn't that way. He takes that opportunity then to go back and look, well, what did God do before the fall? Mind you, what God did before the fall is what God did for you and for me. Like I said, I know it's been messed up by our corrupted nature, by our fallen nature, by original sin. It has been corrupted, but the image that's supposed to be there for us is like what we see today in today's gospel, the Holy Family. Now, I go around a lot of times and I say, the Holy Family, you should be just like the Holy Family. And the number of smirks and snickers that I get every time I say that, it's like, Father, you don't know my family. No, you're supposed to have a holy family, just like the Holy Family. And what we need to be doing as Catholics today more than ever is reclaiming what it was that God established and at least striving to achieve it. See, if we keep letting the lies come in and another lie and we start to believe the lies, we wonder why our lives are unraveling and we wonder why society is falling apart. It all starts with marriage and the family. God created them male and female. In the first account, he said, be fertile and multiply. In the second account, he said, it's not good for the man to be alone. I will make a suitable helper for him, not someone less than he, someone equal to him, but someone who would be his equivalent in love. See, God had given him all the animals, but none of the animals satisfied. I mean, people love their pets, I get it, but your pet is not your spouse or your child. Human beings are different, and when Adam looks at Eve, it's so beautiful. Adam looks at Eve and he goes, wow, this one, finally, thank you, God, you gave me, oh, she's awesome, thank you. And they fall in love, and what does God say? The two become one. So the sacramentality of marriage predates the fall. The sacramentality of marriage predates the fall. That's not open for discussion. That's why the church is very cautious about even granting annulments, because the sacramentality is in the mind of God. Why? Because that creates the family. Not having children. I say this in my wedding homilies all the time. People say, oh, we're going to start a family. I said, no, you started a family when you exchanged your vows. That's when the family began. Within this order, God created a certain way. Now, I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but men and women are different. No, they are. Not just physically, not just the role that they play, but at the level of their being, at the very heart of what God created, men and women are different. There's a complementarity to that difference that is even imprinted in the body itself. And so, marriage and the family was established by God with men being men and women being women. Now, you can play whatever role you want in the family. If you're the breadwinner but you're a woman, great, go make some good money. Nobody's saying don't do that. But if you're the man, look at St. Joseph today. It's Thursday, we get to talk about mothers. So mothers, just be patient, come back on Thursday. I got plenty for you on Thursday. Look at St. Joseph. St. Joseph is called by the angel, not Mary, who was the legitimate mother of Jesus Christ. He says to Joseph, no, be who you are. Care for your wife. Take care of your child. Go and take them to safety. And he does. In obedience. He does. This is what God has asked. God is not saying that a woman is incapable of doing that, but he has asked that if we establish this order and we try to strive for this order and we live this order, we can live in peace. Now, I know on this particular weekend is what I call elbow weekend. When we get to that one line in the second reading, all those elbows that start to, wives, be submissive to your husbands. Husbands, did you listen to the rest of the reading? Because if you get hung up there, your fallen nature is going to kick in and you're going to want to dominate. And that's not what St. Paul just said. Husbands, love your wives. In the letter to the Ephesians, love them the way Christ loved the church. He gave his life for the church. Husbands, love your wives. Men, be men. Go ahead, it's okay. It's okay to take responsibility. It's okay to love your wife. It's okay to desire her good. It's okay to desire the good of your children. And you don't have to be apologetic about any of that. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Men are different, but are still equal in dignity. The family has to remain intact. It has to be this union of persons started in the union of the husband and wife in the sacrament of marriage. Now the children come of that. It's the same union of persons. The love is now bearing fruit as God had commanded. But for all of us sitting here today, we've had to struggle with understanding these differences. Now, I want to be clear. There are books out there like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus kind of thing. That's the wrong way of understanding the differences between the sexes. It's just completely the wrong way. If you really want to understand this better, go on Formed and look up Men and Women Are From Eden, as in the garden. Men and women are from the same place. We were created by the same God. We were gifted to each other in such a way that love becomes the principle and the rule. And anybody who takes that seriously enough knows what I mean. Love never dominates, love never hurts, love never goes after the other, love never tears the other down. Love always builds the other up. Love always says there is an order in our relationship we must respect. And so, especially as we unfold our priorities, this is God's priority, not mine, not yours. This is God's priority. And if it's God's priority, it ought to be our priority as well. And getting these priorities right is going to make such a huge difference in our world today, because for some reason we've gone off the tracks for some time now. And it's gotten further and further and further from the truth. And the more we live in that lie, the harder it's going to get to see the truth. The harder it's going to get to embrace that truth. And so men be men, women be women. We'll talk more about motherhood when we celebrate the motherhood of Mary, but suffice it to say that for today, and I'm going to continue this 3 more times after this, suffice it that for today, the establishment by God of the sacramental bond of marriage that brings a family into existence that is hopefully a family that is fruitful and multiplies, that's first and foremost in the mind of God. Now we're going to have to look at the rest of it, so I'm not finished. I want to be clear. This is not a conclusion right now. It's going to continue because there's so much to say about this. But listen to that talk from Dr. Mary Healy, Men and Women Are From Eden, and you'll get a good flavor for what I'm talking about. We are not going to allow this world to steal love from our homes. We cannot allow this world to sell us a false ideal of what it means to be father and mother, husband and wife, male and female. We cannot allow this world to completely destroy the beauty of what God gave us when He gave us marriage and the family. And what God gave us is wonderful. What God asks of us is phenomenal. And what God gives to us again and again is awesome. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, take a few days now to just ponder over this. Take a few days now to just think about this. Just take these few days and try to appreciate where you're at in terms of what God has given you in being a male or a female, a husband or a wife, a mother or a father. I will continue this on Thursday at 10:30. God bless you.